Hey everybody, Dr. Hellman here. Welcome back to Tech Talk Education. This is movie number 3 in the series of movies that are going through the Tri-Hackney Brute Force and Enumeration room, and this should be a lot of fun. In this movie you'll learn how to use a web vulnerability tracking device called tracking software called Burp Suite. Let's get started. So the detail in this class is really good. This is called the Enumeration and Brute Force Room. I'm in Tri-Hackney. They say it's easy. There's a little bit to know about this, but it's very good. These guys have done a great job developing this coursework. I've asked for an IP address, and you can see that I've got it. I'm going to use Kali Linux Open VPN to do this work because it'll be easier for me than if I were to go ahead and select start the attack box here. And I'm in section 4 here. Now there's some really good information in here. They're talking about password resets, and when a user requests a password reset, this is a very, very juicy place for hackers to begin to look for problems with websites. For example, if I have an email-based reset, I might get a reset link or a token to the registered email address. So if that's the case, maybe I could discover it if I knew a user's email address or something like that. It could even be worse. Maybe the system will automatically generate a new password for the user. This relies heavily on the user's email account and the secrecy of the link or the token. There is a security-based reset. These, I think, are very dangerous because they ask dumb questions, and if you know anything about anybody, or you could find that out, you could potentially get in and answer those questions. And then there's the SMS-based reset. This is for texts where you send a reset code or a link. Now, there are some vulnerabilities we should talk about. There are what are called predictable tokens, meaning that we generate them in order, we go one right after the other. If hackers find that, it might be easy to, or easier at least, to get in and duplicate a token and find your way into the system. There might be token expiration issues where the token doesn't expire quickly enough, or it does not expire immediately after use. There is insufficient validation for verifying a user's identity, like security questions. There is information disclosure where an error message specifies whether an email address or username is registered. This is super helpful. I can try out email addresses, and if the system finds the email address in the database, but the password isn't right, I'm half the way there. Now all I've got to do is figure out the password. And then there's insecure transport, where we were using something other than non-HTTPS, that's hypertext transfer protocol secure. So we're not on port 443, we're likely on port 80. So to give you an example of some code here, this is very interesting. We declare a variable called token, and we do generate a bunch of random numbers here, and then we go through and update it, look for the email address, and then we change it using this token. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate this. Now, in order to see this, what I want to do is I want to copy this URL here. So I'll right-click and select Copy Link Address. And then I'm going to run over to Kali Linux. So let me go over there. Here's Kali. The first thing I'm going to do is bring up Firefox and try that out and make sure everything's working. Now you know that of a day when you're going back into Tri-Hackney that the IP address is going to change. So you'll probably have to do a sudo nano and go in and change Etsy hosts to match the IP address that you were initially given for this particular room at this particular time. And in this case, that's the IP address that I have right now. And it will change when I leave this session and go into a new session. So I've got to pay attention to that. Right? I'm also going to ping this host to see if I can get at it. Ping 10.10.46.3. And if I don't get a response, I've got a problem. Now in this case, I do not have OpenVPN running yet, so I'm going to go grab another command prompt here. I'm going to say sudo openvpn, and I point it to my billheldman.ovpn file, type this in, and it starts. And now I'm there. I have to keep this minimized while I am in this room, and I'll come back and see if I can reping this host. And if not, I might have to try one more time, or I might have to even stop and restart OVPN. Now with this particular room and this particular IP address, I have had an issue where I've had to do that. So what I do then is I come in and I say sudo nano etc hosts, make sure that I have validated that this is indeed the correct IP address. And it is, as you can see at the top of the screen here, so that is correct. So now what I'm going to do is jump back in here, get out of this. I'm going to restart OVPN because sometimes that helps. Right here, I'll just do a Control-C to kill OVPN. And then I'll clear the screen and restart it. Okay, we've got that, so I'll put that away now. Now grab the other one here, and I will ping that host again, and let's see if I can hit it. There we go, I like that a lot. So now I can ping that host, that's great. And now what I do is I bring up Firefox over here, and I right-click and paste again, and paste and go on that page, and now I have the page that was designed. Now this page was designed by TryHackMe, and it's for the purposes of this lab. I'm going to shrink this a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see here. And the idea here now is that they want you to try something out. They want you to try typing in something, and they recommend that you type in admin@admin.com and hit enter. And we don't have a password, so they want us to click here to change the password. So that's the first part of it. They want you to do this, and then when you're looking through this coursework here, what they do is they give you a URL that you can go to, and I'm just going to take and copy that into my Facebook page, my Firefox page here, and you get this here. Now here's what they're really trying to point out to you. They want you to look here at this. This is PHP right here. We talked about this before. When you have PHP and you see a question mark, what's happening is some kind of data is being passed into the database to do some work for you. And in this case, we say that the token is equal to 123, and we're told that that is an invalid token. So we want to reset the password. What we're going to do though is we're going to hang on to this URL here, and we're going to go into Burp Suite, because this is really what they're trying to teach in this particular class. And I like Burp Suite an awful lot. It's a good product. It's made by a company called Port Swigger, and we're using the Community Edition version, which is a lot slower than the Professional Edition. If you were to work in a SOC, you would wind up working with the Professional Edition, which has a lot more going for it. Now, I'm going to bring this up a little bit so I can hone in on this window without showing my head in the movie. Burp Suite, this is Burp Suite CE, and it says we want to have a temporary project in memory. It tells you that the disk-based projects are only supported by Burp Suite Professional. We don't have that, but we can learn a lot just using CE here, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to click Next. Now, we don't have a configuration file that we're going to load here. There's no reason to have one right now, so we're just going to use the Burp defaults. Now, you'll hear Burp Suite talked about as Burp or Burp Suite. Either way, the terms are interchangeable. I'm going to start Burp. And it takes it a minute to start, but this is what it looks like. Now I want to show you that Burp Suite has some peculiarities. For starters, there are 3 and even 4 menus that you can get into in Burp Suite. So you've got a top menu here, where you've got Burp, Project, Intruder, Repeater, View, and Help. You've got a secondary menu here, Dashboard, Target, Proxy, Intruder, and so forth. And you might even wind up having a third menu depending upon what it is that you select and what it is that you're wanting to do. In the majority of the work for this particular exercise, the first thing we're going to do is go to proxy mode here. And I'm going to open up the browser. Now you remember that we're currently using Firefox, You could use Firefox if you wanted to, and if you go and watch old YouTube movies that talk about Burp Suite, there is an extension you can install into Firefox called Foxy Proxy. But if I'm being honest with you, I think that the built-in browser, which is a fork of the Chrome browser, is better. I like it better, and so I'm going to go ahead and use the built-in Burp Suite browser. So I'll click Open Browser here, and that'll take a minute for it to come up and run. And what's really cool is you get a page here that's talking to you. This is a PortSwigger page talking to you about different things that are happening in PortSwigger. It's very, very cool. Now, the next thing I want to do, first of all, I can type in, click and paste and go to this particular website. Right, so we've got that. That works very good. However, we don't have intercept turned on. Now, this is where we get into the primary, secondary, and tertiary menus here. So you can see that if I am inside proxy, I now have one other menu beneath there: intercept, HTTP history, WebSockets, and proxy settings. This is where I open the browser at. Now what I want to do is I want to turn intercept on. So I click the intercept is off button. It changes to on, and it changes color. And I'm going to refresh this particular link. Now this is what's really, really interesting about Burp Suite here, because what's happening is you are told that you have this particular URL. So it's a GET. This is an HTTP GET. Here it's very common, and it passed in this token. So it exactly matches what's going on up here. Here's what we can do. We can send this to a thing in Burp Suite called the intruder. So I'm going to right click anywhere in the screen here, and you could do a Control-I, or you could say to send to intruder. Now if you watch here, proxy is currently green. When I send this to intruder, it's going to turn green as well. There it is. And I'm going to go to intruder. Intruder is where you can perform an attack. And so you have different attack types here. I'll drill this down. You can see what you've got here. We're going to stick with sniper. And it's pointed to enum.thm, which is the URL that TryHackMe is using for this particular room. And here's what you have to do. So you have to tell Burp Suite what it's going to look for, what the markers are. And it's called a payload position right there. So what we're going to do is tell it to look for this marker 123. So I click where it says token equals. I click between the equal sign and the number 1. And I click add. This is called a double S. It looks like a double S. You make one S and then you make another S like that. It's used in law, and I think it's used in like engineering, things like that. And then I'm going to add another one. Now let me show you what happens if you say auto. It's going to go ahead and pick up this PHP session ID as well, which we don't want. So what we want to do is we just want to add it around the 123 here. That's the thing that we're looking for, like that. Very good. Okay, next thing we're going to do. We're going to use a Linux program called Crunch. It's just a little program. Oh, that's my OpenVPN running there. We're going to use a program called Crunch to maintain a file list for us that we can use inside the... And so here's how we're going to do it. We're going to say, I'm going to change to TryHackMe EBF here. And I'm going to make a file called OTP, one-time password. So I'm going to crunch. Need to click an insertion point here. There's the command. So you're telling it 3 by 3. The output is going to be OTP.txt. My match here is going to be %%%. We're wanting 3 numbers. That's all we want. We're going to go from 100 to 200. And so when we create this, what it's going to do is build this list, and it starts at 101 and it goes clear through. So if I clear the screen and I cat OTP.txt, you get numbers from 101 to 200. So that's all good. What we're going to do is we're going to use that inside Sniper. So I'll put this away. I don't need this right now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over here to payloads. So I'm currently in positions, and I've attached the position that I want Burp Suite to look at, and it's position token ID here. what I want to do is replace that token ID. So I come over here to payloads. I've got one in there already. I'll go to payloads, and I see that I've got a simple list here. And this can get really complex, but in this case what we're going to do is we're just going to load up the list that we created with the 3 numbers there. I'll grab otp.txt, and what it does is it loads it into this window here. So you can see that it goes from 100 to down to 200. So we've got those numbers in here. We've got a payload set. The payload set is 1. You can have multiple payload sets. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have it start the attack. Now the attack will take a minute. You get a note here that it's Community Edition, so it's going to take a little longer than if you have Pro. Click OK. And what you'll see here is this will start filling up with numbers. Now what's happening here is really interesting, because this is going to take a while, so you're going to have to be patient with this as it's going along. And what you're going to find is that you're looking at the length column here. This is what you're interested in right here. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things doesn't belong. The majority of these are either 1125 or 1126 bytes long, but the one that we're interested in is going to be longer than that. So what you're looking for is a little bit bigger piece of information in one file. So I'll come back to you as soon as this is done running. So when you're all done working with this and you've gotten your list to come up for you, what's going to happen is you can sort on the length column right here. Let me show you what that looks like, and I'm going to explain why I'm showing it to you on TryHackMe as opposed to in my Burp Suite here. I've already gotten the flag, and so if I sort this by length, they're all the same. When you sort this by length, by clicking this length column, you're going to get one here that is of length a little bit larger than the others. And so let's say that you find one that's a little bit longer. Then what you do is you go down into the response and you scroll down and you can see the password down there. Now I've already gotten the flag, so I don't have that, so I can't show that, but I want to show you what it looks like in the TryHackMe machine. Here's what it looks like. So you can see that they've sorted it on length here, and there's one that shows up as 1178. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for an outlier in the length of all these. The 200 is great. That means, yes, everything's successful. However, you're looking for this 1178 here, or whatever number it is. It might be a little bit even bigger or smaller, but it's going to be bigger than all the other numbers. Then what you do is you click the response tab and you scroll down and you will see the new password. And once you see that, then you will get the capture the flag, TryHackMe capture the flag. You can paste that into your section and get credit for that. Okay, that's it. And I will talk to you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Please don't hesitate to like and to subscribe. Tell your friends about the channel. I'm trying to grow the channel, so I would appreciate all the help you give me. And by the way, I really appreciate the comments that you guys give me. They're very, very helpful. I wanted to put a shout out to someone who commented about my audio being off sync with the video, and so I had to spend a day or so working with that and doing battle with that to figure out what the problem was. I think I've solved it. So yes, thank you for your comments. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching and hanging in there with me. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.